welcome back sa ating online kapihan. So, continue na tayo sa discussion natin. Balik naman tayo ngayon sa Korea. Kasi nowadays, I think Korea is entering a different phase of this pandemic. I think nakatapos na nga sila ng isang buong phase. Because nowadays, they're dealing with the reinfection of patients. So a small percentage, I think, ng Korean patients na nagtitest positive uli for the past couple of weeks na, no? So, what do you think? Is this really reinfection or could this be caused by other factors? Pawi, what do you think?
Okay, I'm not so sure if the proper term would be reinfection,
Okay.
because they're also looking into the possibility that the virus may have been reactivated.
Okay.
So the mechanism for this one is that the virus may have remained dormant for some time, but once the immunity of the recovered person goes down again, then the disease starts to resurface again. So this would be the case for other envelope virus like in herpes virus and retrovirus. They remain latent up to a certain period that when the host immunity is down, they start to replicate and take over the host again. So probably researchers and scientists are also looking into that angle too.
Okay. How about you, Ray? What do you think about that?
I think it's possible kasi actually upon infection, yung katawan natin nagpo-produce siya ng different immune cells as a response. So one of the immune cells that they're looking into is yung what they call neutralizing antibodies.
Okay.
Like yung because this type of immune cells, they have the ability to block viral entry. So actually may mga preliminary studies na nagpo-point out na may mga individuals na after contracting COVID, they have failed to develop na mataas na bilang ng neutralizing antibodies. So actually, if low yung, kahit meron ka ng antibody pero low siya, low in number, it could pose a higher risk of reinfection. Actually, may isang study na those who have infected and those have acquired symptoms, around 10 to 20% actually have shown little or no detectable antibodies. So, and then there are also some discussions na baka yung low antibody titer can be correlated sa severity ng infection mo. So for example, those who are asymptomatic or those who have COVID but hindi ganun kalala yung na-experience nila na symptoms, maybe they won't be able to mount optimal immunity. So it would be interesting kasi ngayon may niro-roll out na mga zero prevalence studies. So in many countries, so right now they are going to test those people na hindi pa talaga na-test but might have developed immunity kasi nahawa na sila, then maybe they have recovered at some point. So it would be interesting to know kung ilan talaga actually sa population have those antibodies.
So medyo
and makakonsider ba natin sila?
Case-to-case basis ang dating na to. Like not everyone will be tawag dito, hindi lahat talaga is magkakaroon ng magte-test ng positive or hindi rin everyone ma-reinfect. Tama ba?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the immune system. And I think it depends on how SARS-2 or COVID-19 actually works. Kasi I just read this today, just tonight, na some of the KCDC officers said na baka false positives, yung na-test. Kasi 'di ba, kasi twice na silang na-test for na negative, tapos ni-release, tapos bumalik sila, tapos nag-positive ulit sila. So that just suggests that the test, RT-PCR, is actually very, very sensitive.
Highly sensitive.
Although, it's very sensitive. Na para kahit remnants lang ng virus or just some trace of some parts of the RNA, madedetect niya. Pero kasi may mga cases din kasi ako nabasa na may symptoms talaga.
Like mapupunta na may pneumonia.
Na may pneumonia. Tapos I think, hindi ko maalala kung sa Korea or sa China, pero may namatay din. Na umabot siya sa severe pa, tapos namatay nga bago, nung nag-test siya ulit. So parang we really don't know what's happening. I think baka may stratification nga na in some cases false positive, tapos may some cases din talaga na may nangyari. So we don't know if it's the immune response to SARS-2 or COVID-19. Pero yun nga, sinabi ni Rey na may zero prevalence studies na. I think Korea is gonna be one of the countries na mauuna kasi they're not really dealing with a lot of cases na, so they have time to study, to do retrospective studies. I think we'll find out in a few months kasi usually for example, the other coronaviruses. So some coronaviruses cause the common cold. 'Di ba? Napansin natin tayo pag nagkasipon, hindi tayo immune. Magkakasipon ulit tayo. So some of those viruses are coronaviruses. So we don't get long-lasting protection from certain cold coronaviruses. So natatakot kasi yung scientists din na baka yun rin yung makikita natin sa COVID-19. But usually that happens, you can only find out around 3 to 6 months later. So kailangan talaga ng zero prevalence at saka ng retrospective studies na gagawin ng Korea, so ng KCDC and other countries. So we'll only find out then. And actually that's really important. Like for me, I think it's really important kasi kailangan siya for vaccine design. So that's one of the things that you need to address para makagawa ka ng effective vaccine. At saka yung para malaman mo kung paano yung schedule. Kailangan ba nating magpaturok every year? Or may pwede ba silang gawin para hindi natin kailangan magpaturok every year? So may mga ganong kailangan.
Pero don't you think na this na mga reinfection cases, don't you think na possibly reinfected din sila because of a different transmission route? Like, I remember before, nag-discuss tayo na aside from dun sa aerosol droplets rather, pwedeng other methods such as the fecal oral route, no? So, with regards to reinfection, have there been any new reports or updates regarding this kinds of routes being the routes for transmission sa reinfection, or at least some new cases or anything? Yeah.
Like I think the most of the things I've seen really the respiratory tract, so respiratory route naman. Hindi masyadong nag-gain ng traction, or I guess hindi lang masyadong focus din yung fecal oral. Although I think some studies have also are looking at water samples kasi may nakikita daw sila. So maaaring may lumalabas sa fecal oral route, but they haven't really shown that it can be like pwede siyang maka-recover or makakuha na maka-transmit. Probably because if you really observe proper hygiene, which we should all be doing right now, hindi mo nga makikita yun kasi that's one of the ways you can mitigate the fecal oral route of transmission or prevent transmission.
I see. Howie?
Yeah, with yun pa rin, PIKO, or nasal route na lang. So we need to be careful with the aerosol droplets.
Rey, inputs?
Yeah.
Same.
Same with Pawi. Oral nasal route. So
yun talaga ang main route, ano?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we've discussed yung modes of transmission, let's talk about naman yung mga treatment options. Kasi nowadays then, there have been emerging reports na drugs, some scientists were hoping can address COVID-19 would be remdesivir, pero recent trials have shown that the drug actually failed to have any effect in the COVID-affected patients. So, what could be the reason? Bakit nag-fail ang remdesivir sa selected patients na to? Erica?
We have to be careful with the remdesivir report, ha? Kasi I think sabi ng Gilead is the company that manufactures remdesivir. Sabi nila leakage daw yung report. So hindi pa nila binibigay yung official report. Leakage lang yung nakita natin. Hindi pa nila binibigay official report sa World Health Organization. But actually it would not be surprising if remdesivir or any drug really will fail the trials.
Mm-mm.
Kasi this is really normal. Coming from kasi I work with antivirals, we look for antiviral candidates. Normal kasi talaga na mag-fail ang drug at the early stages of a clinical trial. Kasi usually the drugs are tested in the lab, in cells, or in animals. And the human system, masyado siyang complicated, masyado siyang complex to be
Masyadong different
represented by
din, no?
cells, oo,
Exactly.
and animals,
Mm-mm.
na hindi dahil nag-work siya sa cells or sa animals, nag-work siya
At
automatically
sa
sa
heart. Oo,
humans.
exactly.
So, I think, siyempre tayo mga scientists, we're very aware of this, but most people hindi, di ba? Na parang, I was pegging on this drug, or I was banking on this vaccine.
Right.
Bakit nag-fail? You were getting our hopes up. Actually, kailangan nating sabihin na normal po talaga to. Kaya naman po walang gamot lahat ng sakit na meron tayo kasi
Right.
mahirap talagang humanap ng gamot.
Totoo.
Na butas ng karayom kasi talaga yung pinagdadaanan for safety and effectivity reasons naman ng mga candidates natin eh. I would really encourage calling them candidates instead of using drugs kasi potential pa lang sila. Hindi pa sila totoong gamot sa sakit na, for example, COVID-19.
Okay.
So yun nga, normal po talaga to, but sometimes, like in the case of influenza, meron na tayong mga gamot. In the case of even, thankfully, HIV, we have combinatorial drugs that
Combination
work.
treatment.
Na parang, diba, na parang, sometimes you get lucky. And hopefully, dahil maraming nag-work on COVID-19, maraming teams, and everything is faster with COVID-19, hopefully, we'll get lucky and get a drug in 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
This is normal.
Totoo yan. Like, a lot of misconception talaga rin, no? Is like people think na once it works in vitro model, it will work. No, but that's the case, hindi di ba? Like, it's a
Most of the time,
the human model is a very complicated system. It takes a lot of different mechanisms there, totally different from the
cells lang.
cells, and at the same time, totally different from the animal model.
Even animals, yes.
Oo, sabi nga nila, di ba, the closest that you can get to a human is a pig.
The chimpanzee.
And a pig chimpanzee
and a pig,
oo. So, I mean, sa pig kasi I think with the heart, di ba?
Yeah,
with the heart. There is a chimpanzee, di ba? But still,
it's the closest
iba.
that you can.
Oo, it's the closest. It's still not a human, di ba?
Yeah.
So, I think some people tend to be too optimistic. But at the same time, tayo as scientists, medyo sanay tayo dyan eh.
Mas pessimistic tayo.
More than pessimistic, not to put
Ako medyo
pessimistic on the negative
pessimistic.
side. Pero I mean, sanay tayo kasi,
Yun
di ba?
na, normal lang to.
Normal na
It doesn't always work.
normal na nangyayari. Oo, di ba? Yung mga compounds, like yung mga scientists na nag-work sa mga iba't ibang compound testing, di ba? You know na hindi palaging effective yan. Which brings me to the, like nabanggit mo nga rin, Erica, about the use of the term compound. Pao, what's your opinion about anong possible compounds candidates? Anong possible candidates ang pwedeng mag-emerge as a possible for possible use sa humans? Pao.
Well, I can't really recommend the drug, pero siguro just a background on how FDA approved drugs na lang din for human use. Very tedious process. So usually it starts with drug testing, in vitro testing through cell cultures or primary cells. After nun, they have to do test it on animal models then. And if it passes that, it undergoes phases 2 to 4 of drug safety and efficiency assessment. Tapos, saka pa lang siya ma-approve. So, probably, to determine the drug that would help cure COVID-19, the scientists and researchers should look into the pathophysiology of the virus and the possible areas that could disrupt or at least delay yung replication ng virus. So, based on this, meron na nga may mga na-identify na candidate na kaso, yung results nila, it didn't cause much clinical improvement to the treated patients, or they have undesirable side effects.
Side effects, exactly.
So, so this includes yung first one, yung kaninang na-mention, yung remdesivir. So that one is an antiviral used to treat Ebola. So that one interferes with the RDRP or RNA-dependent RNA polymerase, essential for viral replication. Tapos another candidate is the hydrochloroquine-fluoroquine combination. I think they add pa nga azithromycin, diba? Antibiotic. This combination naman, it's an antimalarial drug for the immunomodulatory effects that it gives off. So some studies, it says that it reduces the acidity of the organelles of the cells, resulting to the delay of the viral replication. Another combination pa is the lopinavir, ritonavir, used to treat HIV. They are protease inhibitors, which prevents cleaving ng protein chains into peptides. So again, these drugs or candidates haven't been approved, so they are still looking into other treatment options. I think other drugs that had been scientists have looked into is ivermectin. Itong drug na to, familiar sa amin kasi sa veterinary field.
Shampoo.
Kasi we're using it as an anti-parasitic drug. But its effectivity was only checked up into in vitro level. Tapos, may isa pang drug, yung favipiravir. So, influenza drug siya. It also inhibits viral RDRP, and it was discovered back in 2017 in Japan. So, I think isa yun sa mga potential candidates daw.
Good thing nga din na na-mention mo yung side effects of using this candidate drugs. Kasi like, I remember a few weeks ago, si Trump, in-announce niya na hydrochloroquine, diba? Is effective against COVID daw. And then, I think a few days later, nagkaroon ng surge sa mga heart-affected patients. Sa New York, I think, especially sa New York, nagkaroon ng increased incidents. So I think we should take caution about that, no? At pangalawa, like, he also mentioned, napakaganda example talaga nito si Trump, injection of disinfectant.
Disinfectant.
I mean, people fell for that actually. That's the sad thing, diba? So more than that, we should really take caution when we use certain compounds, certain substances talaga. Kasi hindi lang COVID affected niya. It's the whole body that gets affected. No? So, erring on the side of caution, Rey, what do you think about the use of non-drug treatments? Like, kasi recently I've heard then, especially in hospitals like sa PGH, sa Philippine General Hospital, they were already conducting tests regarding the use of, I think, plasma therapy is what they call it, right? So, do you think this has a potential compared sa paggamit ng candidate or drugs na na-mentioned earlier ni Erica at saka ni Paula?
Actually, yung full name ito is convalescent blood plasma therapy. So, ibig sabihin, yung blood plasma galing sa mga naka-recovered. So, parang makes sense din na pag isasalin mo yung dugo from the ones that have recovered, most probably, yung mga may sakit will also recover because they will have that antibody.
Ito yung binanggit mo earlier na may neutralizing antibody, di ba?
Actually, ginawa nila to preliminary sa China. I mean, they did it immediately. Then after that, Korea adopted it, and they found out that maganda yung effects. So actually, there was a study where they found out that after 2 to 6 days, especially doon sa mga those who have severe COVID symptoms, they were actually yung viral level actually became undetectable after 2 to 6 days. Saka nag-increase yung neutralizing antibody levels nila. Saka yung mga manifestation ng mga clinical symptoms, actually, it improved significantly among all the 10 patients and with low adverse risk or side effects. So, actually, this strategy has been employed, for a very long time. So, ginawa din nila ito for Ebola during the early phase. Naghanap sila ng treatment strategies. But marami siyang, but this is considered to be an option of last resort kasi marami siyang variability and limitation. Like for example, hindi naman lahat ng nakaka-recover, nakaka-donate kasi, di ba, like for example, magdo-donate na ng dugo, kailangan mo ng certain weight. Kailangan healthy ka.
Tama.
Tapos, what if yung quality ng blood plasma mo, mayroon kang neutralizing antibody pero hindi naman marami. So, hindi ka din pwede.
Hindi ka pwede maging donor. Oo.
Then, for example, for one patient, how many blood plasma yung kailangan niya? So, it requires a lot.
Oo.
Tapos, hindi mo to magagawa sa bahay lang. Kailangan mong pumunta ng hospital.
Hindi siya parang yung compounds na drugs na pwede mo na
inumin mo lang.
Oo. Diba?
Hindi ka pwede magpaturok basta-basta.
Hindi parang dextrose lang, di ba? Nakaturok lang dyan. Exactly.
Hindi mo naman pwede gawin yung mga recovered na. Sige, andyan ka lang, kukunin ko lang lagi.
Akin na dugo nyo.
hindi kasi Dracula, akin na dugo mo. Hindi yan.
Tapos,
continue.
So, tapos meron ding risk na what if may allergic reactions, ganon, or baka may risk din ng other infectious disease.
In transfer,
like
yes.
What if HIV positive pero naka-recover siya ng COVID, ganon. So, mahirap gamitin yung dugo.
That's true.
Tapos yun nga, hindi lahat, kaya that's also, I think I'd like to add, that's why hindi lahat pwedeng mag-donate. Like, hindi lang dahil hindi sila, like, so weight or ganyan. Kasi, paano kung may sakit din sila? Na iba.
Mga pre-existing.
Hindi rin,